On this week's show, I talk about Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Oh no, it's a Godzilla!
I talk about the final series of Jessica Jones on Netflix.
Oh no, it's a Godzilla!
And Keith talks about Men in Black International.
Oh no, it's a Godzilla!
Stay tuned.
Oh no, it's a Godzilla!
Oh, I hope they get it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, geezers, geeks, kaiju, superheroes, people who like to hide in the dark. It's this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And I've got bad news for people who have been tracking my weight on Twitter. I've managed to put on 500 pounds. And that's because I've got Keith with me. Hello, Keith. I couldn't think of anything original. That's the annoying thing. My brain just went dry. I had loads of stuff last week, but this week... yes.
Yes.
So, how are we doing?
I'm fine, dude. I'm fine. Another week, another dollar.
Yes, that's the Carter's still fucking going off in the background.
Yes. I've got a problem. We kind of had a monsoon rain, and the cicadas come out, and they're noisy little fuckers. And my sort of like little office window is right next. Well, my office is right next to a window. And being in Thailand, we don't have many bloody. We don't really have insulation in the walls, and the windows don't really block out any sound. And the little fucker's right outside my window, and I do open the window, and it shuts the fuck up. And there it has.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up.
All right. So let's get on with it. We've got 3 topics, and then we're just gonna go through some stuff after. So I watched Godzilla this week, King of Monster. Yeah, King of Monsters. To which there's some good bits in and some fucking terrible bits in. And then I watched Jessica Jones. Well, no, I started watching Jessica Jones on Netflix, and you could already gather my opinion just by saying,
Yep.
I started watching Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And Keith saw the Men in Black
International.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm going to start off with talking about Godzilla. Godzilla, King of Monsters. Now, I've watched the original Toho Godzilla, King of Monsters with my brother Duncan. Because he fucking loves Godzilla. I'm not joking when I say he loves Godzilla. He used to get the monsters and this, that and the other, and we used to draw cartoons and wait for him to appear on Channel 4, because Channel 4 had this thing at about 11 o'clock on a Friday where they put Godzilla movies on. And I think the first one we saw was actually King of Monsters. And it had Ghidorah in it, it had Rodan in it, it had Mothra in it, it had Rodan in it, and it had someone else in it, which I can't remember. And we watched it as kids, and we loved it. And we used to like trample around the front room in slow motion and pretend to be Godzilla and Ghidorah and whatnot. And then we used to get our little kind of plastic figurines and smash them together.
Did you build cardboard cities and trash them?
No, we didn't build cardboard cities. Lego was as close as we got.
Lego's harder to trash than fucking.
I know, that's why. Now you say cardboard cities, my brain goes, God, that would have been so much easier. Now I think about it. But we made Lego cities, and we used to trash them. We used to make like Lego Empire State Building, nowhere near Tokyo, and we just smashed the fuck out of that. But yeah, we used to watch that. So I should have brought my brother Duncan to watch it, so I could have gauged his opinion on it. But the first thing that really stuck out is the characters and the people who wrote it do not understand how radiation works. It made me cringe quite badly when it's like kind of they've got Mothra in the temple in South China, yeah, and to indicate that Mothra's out, instead of going, their energy spiking, she's putting out more radiation, yeah. What kind of radiation? It's either alpha, gamma, or beta radiation. Neither one is good. Yeah, I think you could probably get away with alpha beta radiation because it'll just stick to your fucking clothes at worst. So they're sitting there going, "Oh, radiation." So it's like you can see it pulsing fucking radiation, and no one's doing the old Futurama. Ah, my sperm.
I mean, haven't they seen
then-
Chernobyl?
Yeah. And somehow this is fine. Anyway, Tywin Lannister. Is it Tywin Lannister? Charles Dance turns up.
Yes. That's
Tywin
Tywin.
Lannister.
Yes.
Alright, because I'm trying to go through. I'm desperately trying to get into Game of Thrones and I fucking can't. The only one I do like is Tywin Lannister, believe it or not. And I think he dies because of seeded with the later series. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
He does die, but he dies in quite an amusing way.
Does he? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, he gets shot on the bog. Apparently, I've been told.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been told. I don't know. I'm assuming it's an archer shoots
No.
him on the bog.
No,
Okay.
it's not. I know it's
Because they don't
not.
have guns. Because
It's-
all I heard was he was shot on the bog. Someone went, "Oh, it's hilarious. He died shot on the bog." I was like, "Oh, great." So
It's very un PC to take the piss out of it, but because I won't ruin it for you. But yes, he gets shot, but it's by somebody you know.
okay, all right. So it's another Lannister. It's probably Cersei. It's because it's taking too long, and she's got to fucking preen herself or some shit like that. Okay, so anyway, Tywin Lannister turns up and captures said bug. Well, tries to capture said bug, but he captures this device which emits a sound that sounds like the other monsters, so they can control the monsters. They think, yeah. So they take that, and then they take that to what they believe is the first monster that they found, which is
This
Ghidorah,
Monarch?
This is Monarch, yes.
Yeah.
And it's not run by the guy from Venture Brothers, because that would have been hilarious. The Monarch, if you remember that character.
Monarch. This is a sequel to the other Godzilla movie, isn't it? This is a sequel to the Bryan Cranston one.
Do you know what I found this really annoying. They were teasing fucking King Kong, yeah, throughout the fucking start of this film. Yeah, it was like kind of, oh yeah, and they found one on Skull Island and the Hollow Earth and shit from Skull Island. I'm like, kind of okay, and a giant monkey on Skull Island. Did they fucking King Kong? Don't tease me. Don't sit there and say, hey, King Kong might be in this movie and not have fucking King Kong in the movie.
Is he in the movie?
That's not fair. No, he's not in the movie.
What? He doesn't turn up at all?
They point to King Kong maybe turning up at the end, but nothing.
Is there
Fucking nothing.
Is there no cut scene at the end where you like even hear him?
Nope.
There is got to be a stinger after the credits because every one of these has.
I don't know, but all I know is that they were all There are lots of stuff pointing towards King Kong.
You didn't?
Lots of
Did
stuff
you not
pointing
stay
towards
for
King Kong.
a pre-credit? There's always a
Dude,
stinger.
It was a work night, mate. I was like, I
Okay.
can't fucking stick around too much. It's like fucking 10 o'clock. I want to get home, get a bath, not get ready for tomorrow. So yeah, it's they teased at King Kong, but they never put him in. So anyway, they get Ghidorah, they break Ghidorah out of the ice. Ghidorah starts fucking things up because the woman in it who invented this tool, who's the mother to 11 from Stranger Things, believes that the monsters, and this is where the radiation shit comes back in, yeah, believes that the monsters, where they trash things, nature then regrows all the stuff. So where San Francisco was trashed in the first film by Godzilla and the Mutos, if you go back to it now, it's a lush forest that grew up quickly. So she believes that these monsters, the kaiju, whatever you want to call them, the titans, sorry, are key to fixing the ecosystem, which is bullshit because radiation tends to kill things.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I know. I understand that there's like a bottom end of radiation where you need just a tiny dribble of radiation for life, but outside that, it just starts killing things. Because it was one of the because Sad Bastard kind of studied radioactivity, and I watched a lovely documentary on it when I was going through as much learning as I could, and they found something really weird: the fact that you need a level of radiation to promote life. You remove radiation completely, it doesn't. So astronauts, one of the problems they have is they don't get exposed to enough radiation when they're up in space because those pods and stuff are properly fucking sealed. Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Ghidorah gets released. It goes out into the wild. They've got the Godzilla. Godzilla's going mental at them at this other station, which is like an oil rig, because they've been tracking Godzilla. Because all Godzilla's been doing is swimming up and down the sea, eating whales and fish and whatnot. And Godzilla then has a fight with Ghidorah, and the US Navy decide to drop what they refer to as an oxygen bomb. and the oxygen bomb is supposed to just affect anything that absorbs oxygen in the area. So they pretty much kill out all the wildlife off within like 2 kilometers. But it doesn't kill Ghidorah off, and the reason it doesn't kill Ghidorah off is because Ghidorah's not from Earth. Because in the King of Monsters that I watch with my brother, Ghidorah's from Titan, like Thanos.
Okay.
Yeah, not the planet Titan. We're talking about the moon Titan, because in the thingy, I think in the original version of Thanos' backstory, he was from the moon of Titan. The moon of Jupiter or Neptune or whatever, Titan. So we got that. So that's all kicking off. So they fuck up Godzilla. Ghidorah doesn't get affected because she's not from this planet, and then starts calling all the other monsters, and all the other monsters start waking up. So Rodan wakes up, who's like a big flaming eagle. Mothra turns into a giant moth, and then they all start coming around. And what happens is that Ghidorah is the alpha, so the alpha can tell all the other monsters what to do. Where it's supposed to be Godzilla, where Godzilla doesn't really give a shit about it, just more or less back the fuck off. Yeah, leave me to be, and I'll leave you and let you do your own thing. And it's weird because they kind of work like Pokemon. And I'm not joking when I say they work like Pokemon. Apart from Godzilla is a radioactive Pokemon. So where like Pokemon, like kind of if you expose them to certain things, they get stronger. So like kind of Godzilla, if it gets exposed to radiation, so like drop a nuke on it, it gets stronger. Yeah. Ghidorah, if it gets exposed to electricity, gets stronger. Rodan, heat, yeah, so these sort of things. They bring a load of other monsters I haven't fucking seen, a spidery monster, some more mutos and all that shite. And they come into, I don't know if they come to fucking New York or somewhere like that, and it's just trashed the fucking place. And Ghidorah's got this massive storm around it, and it's just causing havoc left, right, and centre. Godzilla has fucked off down a hole in the ocean, which they track. So they go down to a submarine, and this is the second time that they fuck up how radiation works, because they send out Ken Kutaragi, or like Ken Kutaragi, send out Ken Kutaragi to nuke Godzilla to wake Godzilla up. And I just love that. It's like, it's not the radiation that kills people, it's that giant fucking pressure wave. You know, when you watch those things, like that giant heat wave in Terminator 2 where she's hanging it against the thing, yeah? So he drops a nuke in Godzilla's face. That's the bit that kind of gets me. Instead of like kind of just opening it up and just like chucking it in Godzilla's mouth like a pill so it can swallow, and radiation, awesome. It gives Godzilla this radiation. Godzilla fixes himself up. While that's happening, Mothra has turned up, and Mothra is like the queen of the monsters, and she's attacking Ghidorah and trying to beat the shit out of her. The problem is that she's got the other monsters helping out, and they've got Rodan, which is like a big flying, fiery, yeah, which is kicking the shit out of her. And then Godzilla turns up, and they turn around and said, "Oh, Godzilla's gonna explode because he's got a nuclear explosion like that." And it's like, that's not how it works. You know how it works. Even
11's in this film.
Got it wrong.
Yeah.
11's in this thing. She's the daughter, and what she does is she steals a device to lure Ghidorah and the others to a single location so they can all fight out, and Boston can get a makeover. So she does that, and they have a big fight, and then you see Ghidorah get the shit kicked out of him or her by Godzilla, and like eats a power plant, like a substation, to get a boost of electricity. So you get the idea of that, like Pokemon, just on a bigger scale. Less of the Pokey, more of the Mon. Kaijumon. They're Kaijumon. That's what they are.
Yes, I know.
The Kaijumon. So it's like, so that happens. Godzilla kicks the crap out of Ghidorah. It's quite good because he bites the fucking like heads off of it one by one because he's got 3 heads. Some of the special effects in it are quite good. They kind of take you back and go, oh, there's a bit where you have like a really wide shot and Ghidorah's like summoning electricity to fuck up Godzilla, and you see it from a distance, and it actually looks really good. It's still a silly monster fighting film, and I enjoyed it because it's a silly monster fighting film. It was fun. I wouldn't go back and watch it in the cinema again, but I would watch it if it turned up on Netflix. So it's one of those things where
better than the last Godzilla film.
Oh, fuck me, by 100 times better than the last one.
Oh, okay. There's Godzilla's actually in this film, yeah.
Oh, there's at least 1, 2, 3 good fights with Godzilla in it. 3 big fights with Godzilla in it. One with another one with Ghidorah and Mothra, which is another good one. So you got 3 big fights with Godzilla in it. You've got loads of other stuff going on. So it's that you got Tywin Lannister causing trouble, trying to get the Iron Throne by using a giant kaiju. Fuck Daenerys' dragons. He's got fucking Ghidorah.
There is
space monster.
There is a post-credit scene. It hints at King Kong, but there is going to be a Godzilla versus Kong movie. So,
see, this is what I find a bit annoying is that King Kong, I would want to beat Godzilla, because if you watch Kong Skull Island, King Kong is actually a genuinely good guy.
Yeah, besides Godzilla, what they're saying here is that
Godzilla causes a bit too much destruction in his way. King Kong would pick someone up and move them out of the way, where Godzilla would just tread on them.
What they're saying is there's going to be another threat, so that basically it's going to be a Godzilla Kong team up.
They can do another threat in it. There's plenty of things for them to be threatened by in the Godzilla universe. Trying to think of what
it's not. It's one I didn't get to the cinema to see. Skype went.
Okay, no, what do you call it? I don't think it's for everyone. If you're a Godzilla fan, then go watch it. You won't be as disappointed as you were with that previous one. I can guarantee that. But for everyone else, it's a case of if it's on Netflix or Amazon or TV, watch it, because I think you'll enjoy it. But don't go out of your way for it, if that makes sense.
Well, I missed it in the cinema,
diehards,
unfortunately. But I will watch it when it comes out on some form of download.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, I watched a film. You watched a film. Tell us about Men in Black International.
I took my wife to see Men in Black 3, Men in Black International, and it's Men in Black 4, technically. Purely because she wanted to see it, because she saw a trailer which had the talking dog, which I can't remember, the talking pug. He is literally in it for 5 seconds. Literally, she was really pissed off at the end. She enjoyed the movie, but she was like, where was the dog? It's like the trailer showed the dog. Where was the bloody dog? And the dog wasn't in it, like, literally for 5 seconds. The other sort of walking stick aliens, they have a cameo. But that's about, other than Emma Thompson from the third film, that's about all that really made it feel Men in Black like. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I enjoyed the third Men in Black. A lot of people didn't. I quite liked that one. I enjoyed this one because the story was a bit different and it kind of worked.
Can I quote something from the first Men in Black film, which makes this one a bit fucking redundant?
Yeah.
Was the fact that the aliens were supposed to be, with a few ones that had special compensation or dispensation, were restricted to the island of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And you only got a few here and there, and they were being constantly monitored by blah and Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, now there's a Men in Black London office, and there's this like kind of tube that travels fast around all the thing, and then we go to Marrakesh as well. And yeah, but the team up of What's Her Face and Thor worked in Thor Ragnarok, and it does kind of work here. The chemistry does carry across, and I look, it's not the greatest movie. A lot of people have given it 3 out of 5 stars, and I'd probably say that's fair. It's not terrible. It's a laugh. There's some really funny moments in it. It's not as woke as people are making out. There is a joke. There is a scene where she meets up with Emma Thompson's Agent O, or whatever her name was, and they make a joke about it being Men in Black, or the agency being called Men in Black, and Emma Thompson makes one of her dry-witted comments, but it's quite funny. And other than that, there's no real other sort of wokeness in it. Liam Neeson is in this movie, which they're not not advertising very much, and the fact that he's Men in Black, Liam might have a problem with that. But yeah, Liam Neeson's in it, and he's quite good. He's quite good. Kind of worked out the twist with him, sort of about midway through the film. Ralph Spall is in it, who was recently. It came out that he was going to play the Doctor. Now, seeing him in this film, you're going, shit. Actually, he could have been a really good Doctor, and you're going, shit. Doctor Who really missed out there. So he's quite good in this. The London scenes are quite cool. I quite like. Look, it's good. I don't want to ruin the story because I do suggest that you see it. Don't go and see it at the cinema because it's probably not worth that much. But it is worth watching. I think it's in some ways better than the third one.
Okay.
Certainly brings an interesting stance on it. Put it this way, I'm glad I went to see that than see X-Men because I know how pissed off I would have been at X-Men. It's an utter flop.
Yeah,
right.
What do you call it? It's one of those things when the critics and the audience agree, it's very fucking clear that something's wrong or something right.
Well, the director's come out and owned it. Has said that it's his responsibility. Hasn't done a Ryan Johnson and blamed the fans.
Yeah,
which is rather refreshing.
Yeah,
so,
that just.
I don't want to see it. I know what happens in it, and when I saw the trailer and I saw her getting the Phoenix Force from space, I went, "Oh, are they actually doing the Phoenix properly?" Then I saw who wrote the film. Then I actually heard the plot, and then I went, "Yeah." It's like, no, it's X-Men Last Stand all over again. But a lot of people are saying it's worse than Last Stand, and I really don't like X-Men Last Stand. So I will not be seeing this, unfortunately, and it's a shame because I really enjoyed First Class. To me, it's still the best X-Men movie.
The long and the short of it is they should have dumped Bryan Singer and went with Matthew Vaughn.
Yes,
because he's done those two Kingsman film and they're good. Pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and
he did my favorite. I think my favorite X-Men film is First Class.
Yes, no, I agree with you.
I think it's First Class. The X2 is okay, but First Class is better because it's more what I want in a film, if that makes sense. It was fun. You felt the team coming together. There's humour in there. There's consequences in there. You've got a scary ass fucking bad guy. Kevin Bacon,
who was good.
Fight a bad guy. Make it Kevin Bacon.
Oh, he was good. Yeah, he was great. I agree with you. First Stand was brilliant. The Days of the Future Past was all right. It was all right. It wasn't amazing, but it was all right because Wolverine it was really good. And Hugh Jackman's Wolverine coming into it, I really enjoyed that. But no, it's I agree with you. But the Men in Black, as I said, Men in Black International. I really like Liam. What's his face? Chris Hemsworth. In it, he's good. What's her name? Tessa Thompson, is that her name?
Yeah, Tessa Thompson.
She's good in it as well. The chemistry works, and her character isn't a perfect whammon like some people are making out. She has something happens to her when she's a kid that motivates her to find out understand what she saw. So you understand that when you come back to her when she's grown up, she's been obsessed with this and investigating this has become her soul's thing. So when she finds MIB, there's a very funny scene where she walks through the door and she gets into the lift and the old guy, security guard there, is just says, "Yep, go in, off you go, down to your thing." You think, hang on a second. And then when she disappears in the lift, you see the dog. And the dog goes, they get more dumb every day or something along those lines. And then you realise that they haven't bought the ruse. And then she's sort of like ejected out of the lift in a funny way. But it works. So she isn't a Michael Burnham. And I've read a lot of people online, especially on the Nerderotic Facebook group, that have been saying this. And no, she's not. She's nowhere near a Michael Burnham. She is fallible. She does fuck up at times, and it's acknowledged. It's not as woke, I think, as a lot of people make it out to be. And this is the thing we have because now if anything speaks up for basically anything that talks up for any kind of minority or is slightly progressive is now being viewed as bad, and we've got to be careful. And this is the problem with Hollywood, because they're so stupid.
Right. Do you have to understand? It's now pushback, because
Yes.
it's a case of if it's, how can I put it? They like doing this thing where they push you just a little bit at a time, and they push you further and further back just a smidge at a time. And because people have now noticed that any small push is now, even the slightest push is now deemed like.
Can you imagine if Star Trek Voyager was made now? Can you imagine if that came out now? Everybody would be screaming at it, and that's wrong, because actually the character of Janeway was perfectly progressive, and it worked. It worked.
I don't think it was progressive. I just think it was a fucking storyline choice.
Yes, but it worked.
It was just. Well, no, because you still get shit for not putting a fucking timer on that goddamn bomb in the first episode.
Yeah, I know. But that's down to writing things and stuff like that. But that's my point. And I you look at this movie and you go, okay, so there's a black woman alongside Chris Hemsworth. Oh, it's woke, and it's assumed. And I think a lot of people have assumed it's woke when it isn't really. There is a line in there, but we've had jokes before where two women have made a joke about men, kind of thing, and it's carried on. I mean, I was watching something today where it was two women bitching and moaning about men being useless and that you had to tell men what to do and everything, and I'm going, Jesus Christ, it's 2019. If men said that, we'd be in trouble. That annoys me. But because that's a double standards thing. But the crack about Men in Black, it's funny because it is a joke. So it's not as woke. It's enjoyable. It's not the greatest movie in the world. It's certainly not as good as the first one. It does kind of miss. It does kind of miss Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. You'll never beat that. Although, what's his face? It was Will Smith and mostly Thanos in the third one.
Yeah, that's.
But he done a very good Tommy Lee Jones, and it worked. It does miss them, but these two, their chemistry does carry over from Thor, and it works. It does work.
If you tell me, I would have preferred to have seen Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston do it. That would have been fucking hilarious.
That would have been funny, yes. But, it is 2019, so we have to have a woman. But she's good. She's good. She's funny. She was good in season 1 of Westworld. She played a bad guy in Westworld season 1 very well. Westworld season 2 was terrible, but that wasn't her fault. But she is a good actress, and she is quite funny at times, and she works in this film. So I enjoyed it. You mentioned before we got on the podcast that she's been saying shit outside, and I wish they bloody wouldn't. But it's what 2019 is. So, but from the perspective of purely looking at the movie, and I'm glad I didn't see what she'd been saying, because I did enjoy this. It's no Captain Marvel. It's quite good.
So Captain, yeah.
Have you seen that yet?
Yeah.
Have you actually watched it yet? Yeah.
No, I'm not watching it out of principle.
No, don't. It's a terrible movie.
Yeah, I know it's a terrible movie. My wife might watch it. As I said, we might watch it if it's on the fridge, playing on the fridge when I come in by some kind of magical thing. The fridge is playing Captain Marvel because it's got a screen on it. I don't know.
You joke, but fridges do have screens on them these days. Some fridges do, and you can play shit on them. You can play YouTube on them. Because my wife saw one and went, "Daddy, no, nope." Because on my fridge will get hacked.
Yeah, I was going to say a bit worried because you always sounded like David Williams in Little Britain. You had that character. Was it him?
No. Well, yeah. It was what's his face as the Thai Ting Tong from Tooting. Ting Tong. Well, it means crazy in Thai. And she does sound like that character when she does her darling. kind of thing. Lots of people that have met her take the piss because she will never get it. But yes, it's. But it was the other one. What's his face? Oh, Vicky. It was Little Britain, but it was Matt Lucas.
Oh, Matt Lucas. Okay.
Matt Lucas played played the character, and David Williams was the long-suffering husband.
Oh dear. Are you sure it wasn't Rob Ryden was the husband?
No, I'm sure it was David Williams. I thought it was a Little Britain sketch.
I'm sure it's just like massively fat. It wasn't the Thai person. It was.
I know Matt Lucas was.
Bird.
Matt Lucas was the guy.
We'll find out later. That would never get made today.
No, it wouldn't. No.
That was funny though. It was funny in a really awful, cringy way, but made you laugh.
But the trouble is, I've seen it so many times here. I have seen it, and you have to forget it. I mean, when my wife does do the whole darling thing, she is playing up to it a bit. She does it on, purpose. It's a whole sort of act that she does, but she doesn't realise how bang on she is. It's quite scary at times. One day I might actually show her that sketch. I might actually dig that out on YouTube and show her. She'll probably hit me, but All
right, let's move on to Jessica Jones, and I'm overloading my mic at the moment. I have to be a bit careful.
Jessica Jones. Yeah, well, it was the series that, if you were going to give us a final season or something, you're not giving it like Daredevil. Hell, even Iron Fist would have been better than this. But look, we really, really didn't enjoy Jessica Jones season 2, and it was mainly down to the fact that Trish is an absolute bitch, and the writers don't realise that. Now, I think episode 2, the writers might have kind of realised that they kind of made Trish into a bit of a bitch. So I think episode 2, which is the one I've watched so far, is meant to be Trish's redemption episode, and it really isn't. It just makes her even more of a bitch. And a selfish one at that. I mean, even Malcolm, who's kind of gone down a dark side, went, "You killed her mother." It's like, that doesn't sink in. You killed her mother. But her mother was bad. It doesn't matter. You killed her mother, Trish. You cow. And it wasn't to be good. It wasn't to be anything. It was to be for selfish reasons. You utter bitch. And that hasn't improved. I've only seen 2 episodes, but the sort of critics that have been critiquing this, because Netflix don't care about this anymore. Critics tend to be more honest, and it's more of the same, I think. So it's going to go out a bit of a rather than a fanfare.
If I would have gone balls to the wall and had fucking Luke Cage and fucking Daredevil in it.
Yeah,
I would have gone balls to the wall. I would have gone, fuck it. Let's just the last 2-3 episodes. Somehow the Purple Man came back. Something along those lines. But I started watching it, and I just realised it was trying to be a noir thriller without the style, charm, grace. And then it was trying to be a superhero thing without the superhero element really in it, and just having a few light bits here and there. And because it was trying to be so many things, it failed at all of them. It should have just gone balls to the wall for one of them.
Jessica Jones.
It's like the best.
Go on, sorry.
So Daredevil went balls to the wall, gave him 2 villains, went down the superhero route, played with the fact that if you knew anything about the Daredevil comic, that Karen Page was going to buy it in the fucking church to screw with you. Yeah, that's a good way of subverting expectations.
Yes.
Yeah. But you've got fucking cicada. You've got this, and it's just the second series started off quite well, and then went downhill. This is stuck at the bottom of that hill,
and it isn't climbing back up again.
No, it's meandering. It's not. I hate to tell you, Trish, she's not interesting. If you'd have had Jessica
she's
Jones,
a cow. She's irritating. See, the thing was, what made Jessica Jones so compelling, and you realise that in the second series, wasn't Jessica Jones. That first season was good, and everybody watched it because of David Tennant. because he was amazing in that role, and that's what made it so watchable. Whereas the season 2, it kind of started off and then just went flat, and by the end of it, you thought Trish was an absolute bitch, and if she got killed, nobody would care. And they're trying to make us care about her in episode 2, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't. She's still a bitch, and she's not likable.
Yeah, it's like came with that first episode. They were setting up like quite a powerful bad guy that could have taken on Jessica Jones 1-on-1, and that would have been quite good. And then it turned into your mum's got dementia.
Yeah,
that's what it turned into. It's like, oh great, I don't really want to watch a TV show about an elderly relative slowly dying. That's not fun.
No, it kind of went out with a damp squid, and it hasn't. The 2 episodes that I've seen so far have not elevated it at all. And I will watch it to the end because I feel like I have to, just to see the end of what was, Marvel's tenure on Netflix. I'm more pissed off with Daredevil and Luke Cage and Iron Fist ending than I am this. I would have been totally fine with this being cancelled. But because the other 3 seasons all ended on cliffhangers, I want to see the end of those or get resolutions to those.
What was the cliffhanger for Daredevil?
Fucking what's his face? He didn't become Bullseye until the end of it. And I wanted to see Bullseye developed,
Dude, he was fucking Bullseye all the way through that.
Yeah, not really though. It wasn't until the end that he really becomes Bullseye, and I wanted him to turn up bald with the fucking tattoo, and I wanted to see how they were going to work that into it. The Punisher season 2 wasn't great, not like season 1. Season 1 was good. Season 2,
the only thing I think I liked about that was the opening where he's in the back of the cop car with not the cop car, the ambulance with the detective. And that pilgrim fella turns up alongside him and starts shooting the shit out of the car down the streets, because that was a really good sequence. And they had the Marilyn Manson tune going with it, and they timed it really well. And then that was it, really, because it was like, oh, geez, the previous one was better.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if it was the fact that they were told that it wasn't happening and they wanted to close it down and move it on.
I mean,
I'm hoping Disney pick up Daredevil, just Daredevil. I can live with the loss of all the others, but Daredevil.
I want a resolution to Luke Cage, and I do kind of want a resolution to Iron Fist, not because it was good, but I want to understand the guns. It bothers me, that bit at the end. I was like, right, how did that happen? I want to know, because he lost the Iron Fist. So how did he give a fucking robo fucking gun flashy hand thing? I want to see.
He got it off the previous Iron Fist, because the previous Iron Fist put his power into his guns. They mentioned him. I think they found his body, which was the silver, the steel serpent. You
don't see that in the thing. You just see him losing the Iron Fist. What's her face getting it, and becoming the Iron Fist in New York, and then it cuts to that scene of him in the bar and wherever it was.
That shouldn't have fucking happened. I'm sorry.
I know that bothers you.
Sorry, that shouldn't have happened. That bothers the fact because what's his merch? Danny Rand is the Iron Fist. That's it.
Yeah.
You can have it. You can have it passed around like the Flash title was passed around to people, but everyone just gets to the fact that Barry Allen was the Flash, even though you had Jay Garrick before him in Earth 2 or whatever. Everyone's like Barry Allen is the Flash. Even Wally. They had trouble with Wally West and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're going to be the Iron Fist, you be the Iron Fist. Like all of a sudden Karen Page becomes Daredevil.
I kind of agree with you that if we'd lost the other 3 and not lost Daredevil, it would have been less for the blow. I do agree with you. Daredevil was the best. I agree.
The reason it was the best is because it was the best all-rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because it had good guys, good bad guys, even though the good guys kind of fell out with each other, like Foggy and Matt.
Yeah, but they kind of come back to it in the 3rd series, which that I suppose that did finish that off. That did. It had a nicer ending than the others, but I would have loved to have seen. I would have loved to have seen what they would have done with Bullseye, but you know, I get it. I like what they did with Karen Page. It was still way too long. That the all of these seasons have really suffered from being 13 episodes. Whereas you can say what you like about Iron Fist, that 10 episode second season worked much better. It was much better paced. Whereas
I'm going to say it wasn't better paced because the first series was consistently boring. And that's better pacing, as far as I'm concerned. If you're going to be one thing, be consistent.
I just think 13 episodes is too long, and it hasn't. I think Daredevil season 3 would have been perfect if it had been 10 episodes. I think you could have cut a lot of chaff out and still had that.
I think Daredevil. I think it worked. I think it was fine. I genuinely think it was fine. All the way through, I think the pacing was fine. I think
if you get a fan that takes all of those episodes and cuts out stuff and cuts it down to 10 episodes, I don't think you'll notice. And I know that somebody's done it for season 2. But they got taken off because they got copyrighted. But I think you could cut it down to 10 episodes without losing the chaff, without losing any of the momentum, and I don't think you'd notice. There was like a lot in that Karen Page episode.
Okay. I get the Karen Page episode.
That you didn't.
I did get
need.
the Karen Page episode,
and it was only there because they had to fill an hour, because they had to get to that point, and there's things like that in the third season where you could cut down.
But saying that, they did that because they wanted you to go, why has she got a backstory all of a sudden? And then it's like it's coming up to the church episode, and you go, so you understand who she was. You can wrap a character up, and now she's dead. That's what they were doing, and then they didn't, which worked and it didn't work. It only worked cutting it out because they did have a plan. The guys who did Daredevil were much more skilled than the others.
I agree with you there. I still liked Luke Cage. I'm very pissed about the ending because
yeah, I was gonna say because the first Luke Cage I liked whilst the Cottonmouth character was still alive. I thought he was a good villain.
Yeah.
And then when they killed him off and replaced him with I can't remember, the Cobra Commander, whatever his name was, it wasn't the same. The problem with Luke Cage is that when it comes to action sequences for Luke Cage, it's not as exciting as you get with Daredevil. And the next best one, fighting wise, is probably the Punisher, because you get to throw in gun combat in there and explosives and shit. It's
more brutal, Luke Cage, and it's more, yeah. I see your point, because Daredevil is a bit more exciting because of the nature of the character, but the guy that played Luke Cage was likable.
Yeah, but I think if it would have been the Iron Fist and Luke Cage,
yes,
it would have worked.
Yes, done a combined series.
Because
yes.
that one episode, and I'll be honest with you, that one episode redeemed Danny Rand in one fucking episode.
Yes, no, I agree with you completely. I'm still hoping they do a Heroes for Hire. I still want Disney Plus to do a Heroes for Hire because I think that would totally work. And they've still hinted that these characters might come back, so they've got a 2-year gap. So it won't be any. But Disney Plus launches at the end of the year, so next year they could announce that they're going to resurrect this, which I quite like to see them do. Although I am looking forward to the Loki series. The Loki series, him traveling through time, does sound interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
What I want, for the Loki series is that Loki gets pissed, travels through time, fucks something up whilst drunk for the first half of the series, and then for the second half of the series, he has to then go back and put it right. So the first half is his drunken escapades going through time and fucking things up. And then the second half is to put it back right, because if he doesn't put it back right, the world as he wants doesn't quite exist.
You see,
that would be hilarious.
I could be wrong.
Drunk in time.
I could be wrong about this, but I think Disney Plus is going to work, and I've got a feeling that
hang on! Whoa, hang on! What's that? You miss it? Is that you're right? Gareth?
Well,
Did they
I'm
use
about.
your
I
right,
think
Gareth?
it will work. I think that will be one of the ones that are surviving because I think they've got enough on there. I think the Mandalorian could be good because it's Jon Favreau, and I kind of trust him. I know he's made bad movies. I know he made Cowboys and Aliens and blah blah blah. But he also made Iron Man. Yes, he made Iron Man 2, but he made Iron Man. Let's not forget that. And I think he could work with Star Wars. I really do. I'm looking forward to The Mandalorian. I have to admit, I'm cautious, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to what I'm hearing about the Loki series. WandaVision could be good, as could be the thing. Disney Plus seems to have a lot going for it at the moment, and I know Disney gets a lot of shit because they're shill and because they're woke and blah 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 blah, and
No, it's not because they're woke. It's because they fucking own everything. That's the problem with Disney. Because when you own everything, you get a bit Cristiano Ronaldo, shall we say? That's a very polite way of saying something, isn't it?
That is true. Yes, they do own everything, but I don't know. I'm kind of that's looking forward to it.
I was going to say that's my problem with Disney is the fact that they own everything, and because that stifles competition a bit. They can play to their own agendas rather than just being forced by competition to make entertaining content, and that's where the biggest problem is. I think that, as I said, they're the only people who can really take on Netflix, and I think Netflix is going down a path where they're going a bit shit, and I think this is an opportunity for Disney, and I think that if they don't become the biggest player, they will be definitely the second biggest player.
I think Amazon are going to do. Amazon are doing all right. I mean, don't forget they had Good Omens, which was okay. They've got the Lord of the Rings series coming up, which may be good. Netflix are doing a Narnia thing, which I don't know. I don't know about that.
They're also doing
Lord of the Rings and Narnia.
What's it? The Witcher. They're doing a Witcher TV series too, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
I have no idea what that's going to be like.
Have you heard talking about Amazon and stuff? Have you heard the rumours about the Picard show? Apparently, Kurtzman has been fired. That's the rumour, because the testing for episode 1 of Picard was 85% negative. 85% for a Picard series. I mean, the gravitas of this. I wanted it to be good. I did. I really did. And I knew it wasn't going to be. Because I knew who was in charge of it. But now that he's been fired, although they haven't officially said that, but that is the rumour.
Look, if you want to do a good Star Trek series, get Michael J. Skrinitzky in there.
Yeah.
Give him a year to prep the show. And then just do a Star Trek show. He will do you right, and he won't break Star Trek. He won't break Star Trek as much, even though he is responsible for the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah, but
it was his idea to do the Kelvin timeline. But I don't think that doesn't mean the execution was done correctly. Because the idea of having a separate timeline so you could do your own stuff without fucking things up and kill characters off.
This is something that slightly annoys me about this Kelvin timeline, that how the Trekkies have turned on this. That 2009 film was all right. It was. And it was it was a very well cast, and now people hate the aesthetics of it. But you know what? I don't think they would have slated it. I still don't think they would have slated it as much as if Discovery hadn't happened. People slate the Kelvin timeline. I actually think the Kelvin timeline was a good idea. I know why they did it, and they did it for creativity reasons. And good for them. They wanted a thing. They didn't want the Star Trek canon holding over them, and I get it. I get why they did it. And to me, that 2009 movie worked, and it still does. It's not that bad, and I'm a Trekkie saying that. I hate Discovery, but I hate Discovery not because of the aesthetics. I still think the aesthetics are all right. I don't understand why Trekkies have such a problem with it. Although that's a bit too.
It's a bit too dark. It's not what you get in a Marriott Convention Centre.
Did you see that video I sent you the other week where some guy had basically made the Enterprise he had kind of amalgamated the Enterprise from the original series with Discovery's thing, but made it look much better. But I love it. So they took that scene from where it turns up at the end of season 1. Did you see that? I sent this video, and basically you get the original scene, and then it rewinds. It goes, and it rewinds it, and then it comes back again, and that Enterprise looks so much better. Then it blasts the Discovery into smithereens.
I could live with. I'll be honest with you. I could live with those changes if they just didn't promote such horrible fucking people.
Yes.
If I liked any of the characters, and it's annoying because they started destroying some of the characters. It was like, I think Stamets was the only one that could get away with being a bit shitty because he was a genius. Yeah,
Stamets
because being a genius. Yeah, but the only reason he could get away with being shitty with people is because he's a genius, so he doesn't operate on the same level as everyone. And he's getting frustrated because having to explain himself every 5 minutes isn't fun. So you could understand that frustration from him. They destroyed the Tilly character, who started off in the first series as quite a nice person, and then turned into someone who'd flush out the airlock by accident. Oops! I pressed the wrong button. I transported her into deep space. Oops.
Yeah.
No. And then the Doctor character. Oh God, dude! They rescued him, and I really wish he would have stayed dead.
Yeah, no. He pissed me off.
It was just obnoxious. And the other thing too is when you do stuff like that, you then remove the threat of death from a storyline.
What pisses me off the most about all of this, that season 2 of Discovery, was actually, had they just done a Christopher Pike prequel series, fucking probably would have been really good. Because Anson Mount as Christopher Pike was fucking awesome. He could have been one of the greats. He was utterly robbed.
But even the Mr. Peck as Spock did a reasonably good job.
Yeah,
and annoyingly, you had what's-her-mush's number. You had Rebecca Romaine, the lettuce lady, who also did a good job without irritating anyone.
Yep.
And it was like, and then you've got Saru.
Yep.
Who didn't like Saru in the first series.
Yeah.
His character arc went from like total coward to I'm going to be the captain, and he still never got to be the fucking captain. Burnham is the worst character in TV history.
Yeah.
If you think fucking Denise Targaryen turning's bad, imagine just being a constant bitch from start to finish.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
At least she had a moment to fucking shine, if you know what I mean.
I agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. But I was hoping Picard would be something different, and it won't be. And I just don't know why these people don't learn. I hope Kurtzman crashes, burns, and dies. Because his arrogance, I would put his arrogance on a par with Brian Johnson's, and there are not many people in this world that if I saw in the street, I'd want to walk over and punch in the face. Piers Morgan is one of them, but I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to punch Piers Morgan in the face. And Ryan Johnson is another. I literally would have to use all the self-control in the world not to punch that man.
Yeah.
I really, really vehemently dislike him. I didn't like your movie, not because I'm a sexist or misogynist. I didn't give a flying. I still, I don't care about Rey. She's a stupid character, but it's not because she's a woman. It's because she just didn't learn. What I hated about your movie was because you literally raped Luke Skywalker. You literally raped him, and therefore raped my childhood, and you suck for that. You wankers. Anyway, having said that, I think we should talk about some really cool shit, like what went on we should talk about some stuff that went on at E3. We haven't really covered that, so.
Okay, well, can we start off pre-E3? Because pre-E3, a guy called Phil Harrison, who I think it may be the harbinger of doom, came out of a milky white void with his bald, eggy head and revealed Google Stadia to the world. And if you don't know, Phil Harrison was there for the reveal of the PlayStation 3, when they said it was going to be about $600. He was there. I'm sure he was there for the launch of the PlayStation Vita, and they said that they were going to be exclusively on AT&T. And he was there for the launch of the Xbox One, when they said they were going to have DLC. So, in terms of luck, this guy ain't fucking lucky. This really is an unlucky sod. But he revealed Stadia, and he showed it off. And apparently, they played Doom on it. People played Doom on it, and they turned around and said it was quite good. And they played it at 1080p in a hotel room with a load of other people, and the internet went down halfway through. So the guys from Digital Foundry, who when it comes to technical stuff, I genuinely trust, because they are so fucking boring when it comes to this stuff. They have no reason to lie. They saw the tech and whatnot for it, and they said it was the internet went down. They went oopsie, but what they did appreciate was the fact that when they turned it back on, it was exactly where they left it. Despite the machines all switching off and everything, it just picked up and they carried on like the machine was still left running, which was good for them. Image wise, there were some bits there that they said that weren't good, because they were playing Doom previously on an Xbox One X, which had better graphics
4K.
on it. They were playing it in 4K. Sorry, so
can't,
they were like, okay, but
I was going to say can't stream 4K yet.
You can.
You can't stream a 4K game, I don't think yet. I don't think
Yeah. You can stream a 4K game.
You reckon?
You can stream a 4K game. I just think that the moment someone opens up a video, you're going to get a stutter. It'll be like, kind of, this is quite good. I'm just going to watch something on YouTube. Ah, fuck. Just lost connection temporarily. Now, I was talking to you about this beforehand, and I think that streaming is the future of, and I say this, and I pick my words carefully, the future of video games. Not computer games, because I still think computer games will still exist on computers, and you'll still get your indie developers, and you'll still have your Steam, and you'll still have the problem with fucking Epic and all this other stuff. But when it comes to games, video games, I think that this is where it's going. I think that the technology may not, I don't think it's going to be there for about 2 years.
So what you're saying is that, in other words, the new Xbox and the new PS5 are going to be the last of the sort of all-powerful, all-singing, all-dancing consoles, and it's all going to go into the cloud.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong. I do agree with you. I don't think the technology is there yet. I think it will be, but it's kind of weird, because, like, you look at the infrastructures, like the internet infrastructures in the Western world, and then you look at the infrastructure. You look at the fucking internet structure here. We're far more geared in Thailand to have streaming games than the UK are, because the average internet speed here is much quicker. Hell, I've got a fucking fiber cable straight into my house, right? And I'm getting 300 fucking K download on that. 300 meg. Sorry, download on
300K. That's like, what? I'm getting 100 meg. What are you going on about?
But and you look at like Asian countries, especially. I think it's Japan is geared for it already. I think, and I think it will launch in Japan before it launches anywhere else. But I think the UK, it's curious. I think the Western world needs to catch up with their internet infrastructures before it's really going to take off. But if you look at the life cycle of a console, it's about right.
But this may be a push towards that.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean,
yeah.
I remember what you were telling me about when we first sort of saw what the details about Stadia. We were interested then. So yeah, I agree with you that this is certainly the first, step into what I think you're right will become a reality in the very near future.
My question is, who's the second player going to be? Because Sony's already got a streaming service. Microsoft have announced a streaming service. There's the Shadow streaming service that I used. Do you remember coming over and
yes.
me showing you?
Yeah,
that was latency on that was fucking tight.
It was impressive. It was very, very impressive. I think to make it more, but that shadow surface was for what is becoming a more and more elite. I mean, the PC gamers, don't get me wrong, they are still out there and they are still strong. They are not what they were, because I think the console market is more taking over because the consoles are becoming more like PCs.
See, this is the thing. Is I think that the PC market is going to be supported by indies.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you.
I think that's the future of the PC market. I think the indie games are going to be some of the fucking best and most innovative titles that you're going to see. You'll get stable games and stuff from Sony and whatnot, and Nintendo will still be doing that. They'll still be doing their things 10 years from now. Yeah, it'll be on the Switch fucking 3 or the We Weed Ourselves console. Yeah.
Don't diss the Switch. It's a great little console. That I love my Switch.
I think, as I said, I think Nintendo will stay around making game consoles with media in them for another 10 years. So, yeah.
I love my Switch. I think it's I think it's a fantastic console, and I'm looking forward to Mario Creator 2. I'm genuinely thinking of getting that, because I quite like Little Big Planet, and I thought, oh, that with Mario, that could be quite cool. I know I'm late to the party because there was Mario Creator 1 on the Wii U, but this is the Switch.
I almost bought a Wii U for £70 the other day. I saw it then. I was like, £70. I was like,
I can't deal with the controller. And actually, Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U was really annoying. Mario Kart 8 on the Switch is awesome. And I love it on the Switch. I genuinely do. And look, the Switch is a good console, and I think that's got a few years in it. I'd be interested to see what Nintendo do next. But if it's anything like, their thing, the next console will be a dud, and it'll be the one after that, because they tend to release a really good console, then a dud, then a really good console, then a dud, then a really good console. So, it's I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing what they do with stuff like that. So the other thing that they're releasing another Luigi's Mansion game, which is I remember playing Luigi's Mansion when I got sick. This is a long story. I basically got sick, and I was locked inside, and my mate took pity on me, and because I've been stuck in the same four walls for like hours, he sort of said, "Come over to mine." He goes, "I'm going out, but you can just come over and play GameCube." And I remember he'd just got Luigi's Mansion, and he set me up with his GameCube and Luigi's Mansion. I played that fucking game all day. I don't think I've ever played a game as long as I played Luigi's Mansion. I played that game from start to finish and completed it, and I quite liked that. And they're bringing out another Luigi's Mansion on so Luigi's Mansion 3, which is just, I can't get my brain around the fact that there's a third Luigi's Mansion. But yeah, I'm genuinely, as I said, I love my Switch. I really do. I am looking forward to Mario Creator 2, because, as I said, I like Little Big Planet. That was a good game. Mario Creator, the fact that you can create game sort of like levels that look like the levels from all of the Mario games. Yeah, I'm up for that. So yeah. Anyway,
okay.
Google Stadia.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm gonna try it. I think it's gonna be the future. I don't know if it's gonna be the one, but I'm going to try it to see it. So I think I'm going to buy the Founders Edition.
Yeah.
And get the console. Apparently the controller looks cheap, but it doesn't feel cheap. So
well, they said the same about the Xbox controllers, and genuinely, I liked the Xbox. The original Xbox One controllers were shit, but the ones that you could get downloading, the custom built ones, they were much better built. So be interesting. What they're doing for the Xbox, the new Xbox and the PS5 sounds interesting. In actual fact, you commented on this, and I agree with you. They sound much closer together, which could be a good thing. I think Sony needs some competition. and I'd like to see the PS5 have a serious contender. Because one, it'll bring the cost down, which is a good thing. And yeah, I'd like to see the PS5 have a serious contender. I would. I haven't really. The last bloody console game I bought for my PS4 was Spider-Man. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love it. And oh my god, when you get to the prison, how good does that game get after that? How fucking... I love that. Do you know, I have just spent out... I haven't done any of the fucking missions. I'm just going around beating up all the prisoners and the fucking, what's-his-face things. And they reappear, because if you fuck off and come back, they're there again. So you beat them up again. It's really cool.
Okay.
I leveled up everything just from beating the shit out of all these people for fucking hours. I love it.
Yeah, no.
I love it.
No, I loved Spider-Man. My brother Alex loves Days Gone, which will probably be my next kind of game. But I've got so many to go through at the moment. I've literally been going through my PS Plus games and picking out all the indie ones and just been playing them until I get bored.
Who's making
so,
that?
Yeah.
Who's making that Avengers game? Because that looked kind of in the story looked kind of good.
Square Enix.
Are they not good?
I didn't think it looked very good. Apparently, everyone was like, kind of, it doesn't look very good. And then other people have been, like, played it, and it's not as bad as you think it is. But I didn't say it was good. That was the bit I needed someone to say. It's good. Everything will be fine. Here, have a cookie. But no, it's yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about that. I think that Marvel may have looked at that Sony game and went, shit, that's what we want. That's really genuinely what we want. And I feel sorry for fucking Xbox users because it was a really good game.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but
it's...
Sony, but to be a complete bastard about it, Sony fucking owns Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So...
It's one of the best games I've played in donkey's ages. I love it. I really genuinely do. I am going to buy what's its face though. I hadn't got a fucking clue about it. All I knew was what the director didn't like The Last Jedi. But I have watched fucking trailer after trailer after trailer. I've watched that 20-minute playthrough. And I'm just going, oh, this looks good. This is like, as you said, I quite liked, when I played Uncharted with you, I quite enjoyed it. But this is Uncharted with lightsabers. It's kind of cool. It is kind of cool.
No. It is. Yeah, it is. That's what it does look like, and I think that the other game that was being made was in a similar vein. Yeah, I think it looks cool. It sounds cool. They're not being silly with the storyline. They're not insulting the fucking gamers, etc., etc.
Here's the thing, because I watched all those trailers and I got nostalgic feeling for Star Wars because, you know, seeing original Stormtroopers and all that kind of stuff. I went back and watched Rogue One again this week. I like it more. And what pisses me off is I actually think it could have been even better had they just fucking left Gareth Edwards alone. Because I tell you what, you watch that film, you go, do you know what? Gareth Edwards was a proper Star Wars fan. He fucking loves Star Wars. And it's shown when he was left alone throughout that film. It's the bits where you know that Lucasfilm dicked with it that make it less than perfect.
I don't know what... This is the thing that bugs me about Kathleen Kennedy and would raise a fucking massive red flag, is when you have to call in a director at the end of a film. And it's like, kind of, dude, you either weren't paying attention, yeah? You weren't paying attention, or you're doing it to dick with the person because it's not going the way that you want. And that's the bit that gives me... That's the bit what makes me think that she's shit at her job. Because I think that it would have been... They could have just put in the Darth Vader scene at the end. They could have... What they should have done is they should have got the thing to the shuttle, yeah? And then the after-credit scene should have been that. Yeah. So you'd have watched the first bit of credits and then that would have popped up and everyone would have gone, fuck, yes!
Yeah, I mean, look, I like Rogue One. I'm gonna say it. Rogue One is the only one that they've made that I genuinely like, and the more I watch it, the more I enjoy it because I spot things like, actually, there are 3 scenes where the ghost's ship is in it. There's 3 scenes.
3?
Yeah, it's in space.
There's the one where they
flying.
approach the thing.
Yeah, there's another one,
which is the one where I saw.
There's another one. Where was the other? There's, oh god, I saw it. There's the one when it's in space in the battle scene at the end. But there's 2 scenes when it's on the launch pad. I think I saw it 3 times. I know that I saw it 3 times throughout. And you see Chopper briefly, and you hear Chopper. I got a much better copy of it. Yeah, but you hear him. He's swearing at somebody. And you hear, I don't know. I mean, the version I had before, the version I got was a proper digital, decent copy with full fucking sound files. And because I was watching it with my decent bloody headphones on, you hear Chopper. You actually hear him. I was like, oh, I missed that when I first saw it. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I'm really pissed off you can't build Chopper at Galaxy's Edge. That really annoys me. Because Chopper is almost to me now as iconic as R2.
I like him because he's the polar opposite of R2. He's
exactly.
an arsey little droid.
He's a cunt.
I love the fact that if you watch it Rebels, they have one of those Imperial droids on the Ghost, and he flushes it out into space out of fucking jealousy.
Yeah,
I'm going to be more useful than you. Bye bye.
Such a little git. Oh, dear.
Yes, he's such a little shit, and I think that's quite endearing because it's like a little child, petulant kid.
I'm genuinely going to pre-order that the minute it becomes available for pre-order. You've sold me on it. I am buying that game. I'm buying that game.
Yeah.
I just hope it is as good as it's been made out. But I like watching that guy that's directing the game being interviewed. I like what he says. I like the fact he doesn't like Last Jedi. I think he's a Star Wars fan. He's one of us. And I like that. I like that a lot. You see, here's the thing, right? You can make Rogue One was a good film, and guess what? It has Whamming in it, and one of the lead roles is a Whamming, and she's still a much fucking better character than Rey. God, she is a much better character, and it's unfair because you're right. I like Daisy Ridley
as a person. She's lovely. Yeah. Seriously, as a person, if you met her, you'd be like smitten with her because she's very charming. Yeah. What's Jyn Erso's character is a terrible character, and it's because she has no agency. The story pushes her along rather than she's pushing the story.
You're
along.
right, but she's still a much better character than Rey.
She doesn't feel overpowered. She doesn't feel like she's just going to win because the writer said she was going to win.
Yes, that's what I mean. I genuinely quite enjoyed the last viewing of Rogue One. I really did, but it's because I got nostalgic and it had proper stormtroopers in it and it had proper AT-ATs in it, and just everything was better about it. The CGI, by the way, for what's his face, Leia and I was going to say Moffat.
Got Stephen Moffat.
It's terrible when it comes down to DVD. But talking of Moffat, I forgot to mention this. I know we've been talking about E3 stuff, but you've got to hear this. There is a story doing the rounds which seems to be true because the BBC are not denying it. That season 12 of Doctor Who is resetting and going back to the Russell T Davies and Moffat style eras of Doctor Who, and nobody's denying it. Now, first off, Chris Chibnall cannot write. Chris Chibnall is not even in the same fucking league as Russell T Davies and Moffat. And don't get me wrong, Russell T Davies and Moffat are not perfect. Russell T Davies has got something on at the moment called Years and Years on the BBC, which kind of feels a bit Doctor Who-ish, or did. The last episode was fucking terrible in many ways because it really pissed me off because it's completely lost its way and gone out of the realms of... It's basically, it was bang on until the 5th episode. Then it just kind of went batshit crazy. But what I'm basically saying is there's no way. But it's interesting to hear that the BBC are basically going, yeah, okay, season 11 was bad. And I think this is the BBC kind of putting out rumours to try and attract us back. It's not going to work because she's not the Doctor. She was badly cast. You were right. I was wrong. You were, and it was becoming more and more apparent throughout that.
And I'll be honest with you, it's Chris Chibnall's fault.
And yeah, you're right. But he obviously doesn't get fans because he goes, look, we're bringing back monsters. And what monster are they bringing back that we're all meant to get? The Judoon. Seriously? The Judoon were brought in to play off Tennant, and it worked. They're not the Cybermen. Yeah. They're not the Daleks. Yeah. They're just a joke, really. Hell,
I would have turned around and said, look, for next season we're doing 6 big 1.5 hour episodes, and we're starting off. We're going to got the Rise of the Cybermen for the first one, and then at the end of the season we're going to have Daleks versus Cyberman round 2, and everyone will go, keep talking. I'm now interested.
Yeah.
Because I probably sold you on that series.
Yeah, you did completely.
If I said,
yeah,
and then it's like kind of in the middle, the Masters coming back.
Yes,
and it's just going to be a big fuck off battle and whatnot. I mean, we got original bits in between just to keep things fresh.
You see, that's the one thing that I get slightly annoyed at with Mr. Beekler when he goes on about how the Doctor should be a man. The Doctor should be a man. No, because you're forgetting Missy. And I'm sorry, there is no way you can tell me she was bad. She was fucking awesome. she just was. So you can't tell me a woman can't play the Doctor. I will argue this one to the end because Missy is the perfect example of a gender swapped character, and it completely fucking works. She was fantastically evil and brilliant. And
yeah, it's in the current climate, I wouldn't gender swap the Doctor. I would wait until all this shit dies down and do it after. Yeah.
Take the politics out of it.
Do it and get someone.
Take the politics out of it. It's down to the fact that they miscast the character. They miscast her. Sorry, Jodie. I loved you before you got into Doctor Who. I really do not like you in this because you have no gravitas. You have no oomph. You don't scare me.
You know what? I run YouTube on my phone in the background quite a lot, just to use like white noise to try and keep myself distracted. So I usually just have like people like Gary Beekler and whatnot talking. And one of the thing I do like coming up on my feed is people get episodes of Doctor Who and they cut out all the dramatic bits and they put like a really kind of nice kind of soundtrack with it and they put it together, yeah. And it's like kind of they take like a phrase from the Doctor's things, like kind of they break my heart. So he's got all the things of all the companions breaking their hearts and whatnot, yeah. And I noticed something. It goes all the way up to Peter Capaldi and stops.
Yeah.
There has been one that I've seen from one person for the 13th Doctor. I don't know.
This is why that story's out there. I think the BBC know it. I genuinely do think they know it. There's still no denial, by the way, of her and Chris Chibnall leaving after season 12, which is interesting. I know there's calls for it to be cancelled, but look, you get a good writer back through the door. You get a good Doctor. I don't care if it's female or male. I genuinely don't. Missy, you just got to cast a good actor. You've got to cast an actor that's right for the role. Michelle Gomez was fucking born to play the Master, in my opinion, and she did it really well. She wasn't better than John Sim. She was different, and she worked. I still love John Sim's Master. I genuinely do. And when they were on screen together, that was the only thing I loved about that season final was the two of them, and they were brilliant. And you can have a woman play the Doctor. You can. You've just got to cast the right woman. And the bullshit I keep hearing, because the one thing that's really drawing me is that the Timeless Child is that they're rewriting the Doctor's history and the Doctor was born a woman. Now, if they do that, fuck off. Just, no.
See, this is right. I was thinking, how would I do Doctor Who? Yeah. it was like, okay, if I was put in charge, if someone said, Gareth, because Christian Will's quit and we need to put you in charge of Doctor Who, and it's like, how would you do Doctor Who? And it was like, okay, well, the first thing is that the Tennant and the kind of Matt Smith kind of younger man is running around being dashing and stuff. That's kind of the route that you want to go down. I love Capaldi. Capaldi monologues were the best fucking monologues. He beat everyone. I'm talking everyone.
His speech before he regenerates was brilliant. I love that speech.
The Zygon inversion speech, fantastic. The bootstrap paradox, where he's talking about the bootstrap paradox. The what does a creature look like with perfect hiding?
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole episode from fucking Hellbent where he's chatting away to himself. Yeah. He's the only Doctor that could actually be by himself and talk to himself.
Yes.
And
I agree with you. I agree with you.
It's like, I'm sorry, Tom Baker. Capaldi can pull that shit off, and I don't think you could. But people kind of like the dashing hero running down a corridor. The girls like him. The blokes kind of like it too. So the first thing I'd do is I would jump and I'd have the 27th regeneration of the Doctor. There's a reason for 27. Okay. All right. The 27th regeneration of the Doctor. And I would base the Doctor around fucking like David Bowie. Yeah. I'm talking about David Bowie from the 80s, not Ziggy Stardust David Bowie. So he'd be like rock star. Rather, so you got like the hero, all these other characters, but he'd be the rock star Doctor, where he'd have his swagger and whatnot, and be wearing his different T-shirts and not giving a fuck about this, that, and the other. And that's what I do, and I would have it so he would interact with the actual last Doctor. Yeah, and I'm talking, we would put a Doctor at the end and turn around and say the Doctor is getting X amount of regenerations. And what you could do is, I was just thinking about it, it's like kind of, you got to the last episode, because I would do it like this, it would be like kind of, I would do the seasons of life. So you start off with spring, move into summer, where you'd have his biggest, baddest, massive, most explosion-y battle. Yeah. Then you'd have like autumn, and then you'd have like the winter. Where when he gets into the winter part, that's when he'll meet the last Doctor and whatnot, like the ghosts of Christmas things. So he could like go back and meet like, what's his mission? I can't remember his name now. Big Chin. Really good. Met him in real life.
Matt Smith.
Forgot. You can meet the Matt Smith Doctor, could be like the spring Doctor, yeah? And then you could go through all these others. And one of the things I'd do is make sure that he would refer to the 13th Doctor as the lying Doctor. The Doctor that lied.
Yeah. Constantly.
Yeah. Yeah? The one was very loose with the truth, yeah? Didn't quite know where she fit in and whatnot. But as I said, you get to the end, yeah? And towards the end, you'd have a bit where the last Doctor has called on this Doctor to help him sort something out before he dies. And he comes out, yeah, and you find that he's recalled all the TARDISes from all the Doctors at all points. So you have like a big field full of fucking TARDISes, all neatly parked in a row, yeah? And then he could pull out another Doctor like Capaldi or whatever, but there would be one TARDIS that he says, don't open that TARDIS. And he goes, why? And eventually the TARDIS opens up, and the Doctor and the Valeyard have a fight. So you could have the Valeyard in there, because he's part of the Doctor Who kind of mythos.
Yes, he is.
And I'd like to fucking see that, because the second to last regeneration of the Doctor is supposed to be an absolute arsehole.
But can you...
And that was one...
Yeah. I mean, what you're saying is absolutely... But can you imagine if they did like a 5 Doctors or 4 Doctors now? Jodie couldn't stand up against Capaldi, Matt Smith and things. She just couldn't. She just wouldn't. Whereas Michelle Gomez up against John Sim perfectly worked. You can't have Jodie Whittaker up
and
against...
the other Doctors.
You can't have Jodie Whittaker up against any of the other Doctors. They'll just eat her alive.
But as I said, I would have her referred to as the lying Doctor.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
The Doctor that lies.
I agree with you.
Because that would be... Because it's like, if you look at it, it's like you had... Capaldi was like the alien. He started off as like the alien Doctor, if that made sense. He didn't quite fit in, and he was not quite the way everything he wanted, which I think kind of worked. And he had Tennant as like the hero Doctor, yeah, running around and all that sort of stuff. So you've got to kind of like pick an archetype for the character to be. But I think she would work as the lying Doctor. The reason I say that, yeah, is I was watching a video of someone reviewing the second episode of the 13th Doctor's first run, the Ghost Monument. That was it. And she pulls a pair of shades out of her pocket, and she says these shades either belong to Audrey Hepburn or Pythagoras. Yeah, that coat was brand new. She didn't empty her pockets from the previous coat. She said specifically she had empty pockets and she needed to fill them up. She hadn't gone anywhere near the TARDIS. That's why I think the lying Doctor would work better. And that would make her more interesting too. Because you could then put her up against a villain and she could lie her fucking hind teeth off to get something and manipulate them. And I've instantly made her more fucking interesting.
Yes.
There. The one fucking move, she's now interesting, rather than being the supporting character in her own TV series.
Yes, no, you're completely right. Bradley Walsh is a better character than she is.
Yeah, but yeah, do you know what Chris Chibnall's done to Doctor Who? He's turned it into an ITV show. Because that's how I see ITV shows, isn't that kind of boring?
Yeah, but most of it is. But ITV does get the odd good drama. It does. It's made some good dramas. Sharp was ITV, and that was good.
Oh yeah, that was back in the 90s.
Hornblower, again, yeah, back in the 90s. The Bill was quite good.
That Bill wasn't that good.
Oh yeah, it was. It had its moments when it was really good. It also
Cracker was good.
Yes, that was ITV. Jimmy McDonald.
What was the other one with Prime Suspect with Helen Mirren?
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yes, that was ITV.
They were good.
Prime Suspect were really good. I should begin. Okay, you're talking modern ITV, really, because modern ITV is shit. I don't think there has been much in the way of good drama on ITV.
There's like fucking Downton Abbey. I think it's the only thing where people give a shit about. Is that still going?
No, it's got a movie. Have you not seen the trailer, darling? There's a big. It was out a couple of weeks ago. It's the biggest thing on the internet.
Don't give a shit about Downton Abbey unless the Martians from War of the World are in Downton Abbey. I'm not interested.
Right.
That would be good. That would be really good if they did that in the fucking BBC adaptation of War of the Worlds. This comes across fucking Downton Abbey.
The Americans love Downton Abbey. They do. I mean, wasn't there what was it? It was in one of the bloody Marvel films, wasn't it? There was a Downton Abbey
Iron Man 3 when Happy gets put in a coma.
Yeah.
They leave Downton Abbey on to try and get him to wake up.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you watch Black Mirror?
Not yet. There's so many things I've got to watch, and I haven't got round to Black Mirror yet. I know Miley Cyrus is in one of them.
Right. I need you to watch it because my opinion is that they were good, but not Black Mirror-y.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So watch them, and you'll go. It's like a really subdued Black Mirror. But I preferred it to the previous series because the previous series it kind of got a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, but I did like the Star Trek episode. Star Trek episode was good, and I loved the fact that it had what's his face? Yeah, bitch. What's his face from Breaking Bad? I loved that bit. But yeah, no, I agree with you that most of it was crap. I still haven't seen Bandersnatch, and I suppose I should bloody watch that. It's getting around to. It's getting around to doing that. Yeah.
Just don't do what I did and forget that it's interactive. Because I just watched it because I put it on. I was working on something and I just put it on in the background and went, I can't do it properly, but I'll just watch it now. And I'm looking up and because it's like a Telltale game. Oh, look, they picked the choice for me. I didn't realise that I got the chance to pick. That was the bit that got me. So yeah, that was good. Let's just quickly describe them. It's not gay. If you're not looking, is the first episode. You'll understand when you watch it. The second episode is oh god, who's the guy who played Moriarty? Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. Yes, yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
Social media sucks. And then the third one is what if they sold Miley Cyrus as an Alexa? That's literally that's the entire series summed up there for you.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's more to it than that. I haven't ruined anything, but yeah, it should be fairly interesting in
No,
in that. It's
I haven't watched that yet because there's still a few other things I'm trying to get through. Nothing
Have
that's
you finished
podcast
off Good
related.
Omens?
Yeah, I've watched it 3 times. I love it. I've just said,
I watched it twice. I fucking enjoyed it that much.
but then I'm a Pratchett man, and I love Good Omens. Love Good Omens. Loved it. And as I said, I like the fact that Neil Gaiman bought that final episode, which really is the sequel, to it, and I loved how that finished. And I would love to have seen. I'm gutted that wasn't in. They didn't bring out a second book, because that could have made a really good book. That they could have expanded on that whole scene. But that whole scene where they swap is not in the book.
Yeah.
And but Gaiman said that was an idea that he had with Pratchett for a sequel. They could have both been put on trial. That could have been quite good.
Yeah. Well, I think that Agnes Nutter, because you sent the manuscript of like the next 5 years.
Yes.
It's quite an easy way. Well, quite an easy way to start. It's like I saw the fact that you burnt the manuscript, so I thought I'd just copy it down and send you another manuscript so you could still see what's going on.
But that would have been a joke. That would have worked. I do like how, because I heard the radio play with Peter Saravaranish as what's his face, as Crowley, but Tennant's Crowley was much more how I pictured Crowley to be. And Tennant was perfectly cast for that.
Hang on a second. Did you find that every so often he went a bit Doctor Who-ish?
Yes, but that was kind of the point.
The bit where I felt he went Doctor Who-ish the most was, now they've told your father we are fucked. And I was like, that's really Doctor Who, if Doctor Who was allowed to swear. And the other thing too is I think that Michael Sheen would be good as a Doctor.
Oh yeah, but then Michael Sheen's a brilliant actor. I mean, Michael Sheen you watch him in there as that character, then you see his Tony Blair, then I'm going to say, then you watch him in The Good Fight as this. You have to watch it to understand it. You go, you don't realise it's the same fucking guy in all three, because the parts are so starkly different that you're like,
yeah,
he's a fucking good actor, and the chemistry between them, it just so works. But I love the fact that Agnes Nutter was the same Agnes Nutter in the BBC radio play, same one. Brilliant. I did think the only criticism I have of Good Omens TV series is the narrator that played God. Frances, what's her face, the fucking woke bitch that's did that speech when she won the Oscar. She's not very good as God. God.
No, I would have preferred Brian Blessed.
Yes, or Alanis Morissette.
It would have been, hang on, Brian Blessed, and I would still let them refer to him as she, because that would have been fucking hilarious. Because I could pick any voice I want, and I want this voice. Because Brian Blessed, it's got one of those. I accuse you of booming when recording. If we had Brian Blessed, that would be like fucking uber boom.
Do you know that I have a list? I think there's 3 or 4 people on it that I would love to meet and interview. Right, it's Murray Walker, because it's Murray Walker, and Brian Blessed. Brian Blessed, there's a couple others, but they're not sort of relevant. But Brian Blessed, I would love to meet, because that guy is so fucking interesting, because he's not just an actor. The guy walked up fucking Everest, for fuck's sake. He climbed Everest.
He got in a fight with the Dalai Lama.
Yes, he did.
He had a boxing match with the Dalai Lama. He didn't actually get like, oi, slag, and then him and the Dalai Lama started fighting. But yeah, he had a boxing fight with the Dalai Lama. That's yeah. No, that's.
I'd love to meet Brian Blessed.
Fucking awesome.
The man's a legend. The man, he's a national treasure, and he's never referred to as such, but he is. I'd give my right testicle. I would just to get in a room and interview him for an hour, because that man would just be amazing. You wouldn't get a question in edgeways, but I don't care.
I'll see if I can find this, so you can put it on the end of the podcast. But he was doing a TV game show, and one of the prizes on a on this TV show was a thing called a Palm Pilot. To which he goes, "Palm Pilot sounds like a fucking wanking machine to me."
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'll try and get that. I know what clip you're talking about. I remember that. Brilliant. I mean, he swears like a fucking trooper.
Yes.
I mean, he really does. He'd be a night. But oh god, I'd love to interview him. Murray Walker, but Murray Walker because of my F1 side, which sometimes breaks out when me and Nigel are allowed to talk about it. But yeah, we should finish off though. Before we go, just finishing off the E3 stuff. We were going to say that PS5 and Xbox do sound interesting. Which one do you think is going to get out first? It sounds like the Xbox.
No, I think that's PlayStation.
You reckon?
I think PlayStation. I think PlayStation are further along than Xbox are.
But they're going back to that.
I genuinely think
that kind of cell chip architecture. They're going back to a similar architecture to the
no.
PS3.
This is the weird thing is that cell chip architecture when it came out for the PS3 was revolutionary, and because it was revolutionary, no one fucking understood it. But graphics cards, the way graphics cards run now, are closer to the cell chip than they are to a regular processor.
Yes, I knew that.
And given the fact that kind of probably kicked off the whole thing, I think it's not a cell chip; it's an APU. It'll be like the PS4 because they're still gonna because they what they've done is and Mark Cerny, who you don't like, did this great thing where he.
It's not that I don't like it; he creeps me out.
That's not liking him. He explains that he did a very good thing, and I've got examples of this where you consider all your customers, yeah? So it's not just the customers who are buying the console, it's the customers that are programming for the console. An example of this is if you get into business textbooks, they talk about aircraft, yeah? And it's like you tend to think, you build an aircraft, you tend to think about the passengers sitting on the aircraft, yeah? And then maybe the pilot. But you don't think of the ground crew that have to maintain it, and you don't think of the cargo crew who have to put the cargo in it, and how it interacts with ATC and all that stuff. And he took a different approach because people were complaining that the cell architecture was too hard. So he kind of changed it up and got all sorted. So I think it's going to be interesting. I'll probably go down the PlayStation route and then buy an Xbox later on down the line, like I did this time round and the previous time round.
I think I agree with you. I think Microsoft would have to pull something really special out of their.
It's Microsoft's problem is the software.
I tell you one thing. One thing that Microsoft did show, which blew me away because I didn't see it coming. Did you see the trailer to the Microsoft Flight Simulator? My mouth just went. Yeah, if my jaw could have hit the fucking desk, it would have done. God, your dad must have had a wank fest over that trailer.
No, I phoned my dad up and he turns around and goes, "We already got to see the trailer early because we're flight sim enthusiasts." And he turns around and goes, "I'm not too sure about it because my dad builds custom sceneries and stuff. That's where the issue comes in." And he says because it's built around the Xbox platform. And I went, no, technically it's what they refer to as the Universal Development Platform, UDP, or whatever it is. So it runs on everything. So it should run on a fucking Windows phone if they ever come back. So he's like, oh, okay. But it's the one of those things where it's like kind of we'll wait for it to come out. We'll see what they do with the add-ons. If they let everyone build add-ons for it, then it'll be fine. Given the way that Phil Spencer is inclined towards gamers and stuff like that, I think he will. I think he will let people do it, considering that the restrictions for the Fallout add-ons from people making them were for less strict than they were for the Sony ones, because Sony were a bit like kind of, oh Christ, we've been hacked once, we don't want to be hacked again through Fallout 4, so I think it'd be fucking terrible. I'm thinking he's right to wait. It did look good. He needs to get a new PC though.
It did look good.
Because he's been running Flight Sim on an old fucking PC for ages.
I might have to buy a PC. My wife's going to kill it. You're buying a PC to play one game. It's Flight Sim. You do not understand.
Do you know what you could do? You could get one of those cloud gaming PCs.
Yes, you might be right.
And that way you could lease it out for 4 months as you play the crap out of it, and then
But dude, I was like,
put it away
Dad,
when
I
you're
used to fucking take off from Heathrow, go to bed, wake up in the morning and land in New York. I did that shit. I did that. I was into my jaw just went bang when I saw that trailer. I was just like, I didn't, what? Microsoft Flight Simulator. I mean, I can't remember playing that on a 386 when Mig's Field was just green and blue. Green and blue. I remember like Microsoft Flight Simulator 2, I think it was, and the graphics. It was green and blue. There were no sort of shades. It was green and blue. And you still got the make out of Mig's Field in Chicago. But, oh my God. And when I saw that, I was just like, I thought they were never going to do another flight sim again, and
Well, the reason one of the reasons they've done it is they've got a piece of technology, and what they can do is they can take a picture from the air, and it can work out the terrain from it. And this is the funny thing is this existed on the PS3 when they used to have Linux on it, and they were demoing what you could do with a cell chip, and it's just the fact that that technology was kind of shelved, and then someone's picked it up and gone, that would work for flight sim. We've got all this stuff. We could just do the whole terrain, everything. Fucking awesome.
Because somebody sent it to me, and I didn't know what it was because it didn't have any title card. I started watching, going, "Where's the flight sim going? This looks a bit." And then when it came up, Microsoft Flight Sim, I was just like, I literally come in my pants. I was just like, "Oh my God! Oh shit! I'm gonna have to buy a Windows PC. I'm fucking."
But some of the add-ons for fucking Flight Simulator were awesome. There was the Independence Day add-on from 1996. Where you had the fucking UFOs over the cities, and you could fly above or below them.
But your dad's awesome. Scenery was pretty good. I had quite a lot of your dad's stuff.
What do you call it? You had the Death Gliders from Stargate.
Yes, you did. I remember that one.
Which had the craziest fucking acceleration on them because they had the acceleration to match a fucking space shuttle. So the thing would hit like max fucking Q in like 2 seconds flat.
They brought out a combat, a Second World War combat flight sim based on the flight sim engine, where you were in the Battle of Britain Spitfires. That was epic. And if you turned it all over to like realistic flight, it really was a realistic flight sim. Over the cliffs of Dover. In a fucking Spitfire. That was so good. It was just so good. I want them to do that again. Mate, I can't. I'm going to become the biggest fucking geek again because I can just see it now. I'm gonna, that game's gonna come out. Everyone's gonna go, it's really, really good. Shit. Gonna have to buy a Windows PC now. I said I'd never buy a Windows PC again. I never would. But now I might.
Loan one out.
Now I might have to.
Just loan one out to start with, and then work on it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we should end this.
I think it's time we wrap this up. I've got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but we can save it for next week.
Do a monologue.
So, do a monologue. Okay, it's goodbye from me.
Yeah, it's a goodbye from me, and hopefully we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thanks for downloading the Monkey Nut Punch podcast. You can follow us on Twitter @Monkey Nut Punch. You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/monkeynutpunch.
one node away from becoming a three champion. From a what a fucking what a three champion. What a three. Wow, fuck. There gets go. And here I've got a Palm Pilot 3. Oh, fuck. This fucking...
It's the other side.
Which fucking...
It's there. That one.
Oh, fucking arseholes. Give me that fucking badge back. Palm Pilot. Sounds like a wanking machine. Powder me down, you slut.